Welcome to Daily Plunge. We are in the book of Esther, chapter 1, verses 1 through 27. Now, Esther is an unusual book. It's set in a later historical context than Ezra and Nehemiah. And in this book, God is active. God is active in moving the circumstances and the people who are involved in the story, but God is never mentioned. And I think that's intentional by the author, that we would see God in the people and behind the scenes. Now, this all takes place while Xerxes is the king of Persia. He's the Persian potentate. Your Bible may have the Hebrew name for him, which is Ahasuerus, and same guy. And Xerxes is the man who led the attack on Sparta and Greece. So if you've seen the movie, The 300, all about Thermopylae, this is the guy right here. And he is into showing off his great power and wealth. And when you read the passage, it's just a gaudy display, right? It's totally nouveau riche, new rich, in how exorbitant it is. And it's all because Xerxes is a narcissistic guy, right? This is all about him, about his power. And that's why in verse 9, he sends one of his men to go fetch Queen Vashti. She's part of his harem. And in there, the eunuchs, who probably could mean eunuchs or could mean simply servants, manage that harem. And says, bring her here. But she refuses. Now, there's a lot of print about power plays and about feminist, power. And there's probably some level of that. But the more likely case is that she's the daughter or the niece of a man who was once king, and her people have been conquered. And this is a way to show her resistance. And so she refuses to come and to be one more trinket for Xerxes. And she shames her husband, Xerxes. And it's purposeful. She purposely embarrasses him. And if he's over 127 provinces, but he can't control his own wife, what kind of a king is he, right? And so Xerxes consults his wise guys, his wise men, as was customary, and it's their job to give him advice. Now, the advice that they give it's conventional, it's natural, it's man-centered, and we should not assume that the wisdom of man is rational. Oftentimes it gives that appearance, but the truth is that man's wisdom comes out of a sinful nature, out of a broken heart, right? A deceptive heart. And so it can't always be trusted. And so they're concerned that all of a sudden there's going to be this rise in the disrespect of wives against their husbands. And so there's this whole thing about the power play in the marriage. I have to control, right? So they say, well, the man needs to be the head of every house, needs to be the king of his castle, basically. And that wasn't the Jewish understanding. The Jewish understanding of the husband was that, yes, he was the lead in the relationship and in the family, but the wife and the children were not his property. They were his stewardship to care for and to lead and take care of. So there's a different perspective, and probably a perspective that lends itself more towards grace than domination. All right, friends, I'm looking forward as we talk about the books of Esther, where God is never mentioned directly, but is working in the people and among the people. We're going to be talking about that over the days to come. Thank you. Have a blessed day.